Oh my God, we're back. Hey,
Oh
I'm
my
Jeff.
God.
Hey, I thought I'd try to do something different and see if she would still dance or she would like do something different. My name is Jeff Harrison, and this is the Twisted, Bent, and Exhausted Entrepreneur Podcast, along with my happy dancing host,
Leslie Spoor from Concierge Business Solutions.
Leslie. What is your T-shirt say?
It says something about Italy because, I'm going to Italy soon. So I'm not sure.
If you want to be
But-
Italian, you got to act Italian. There you go. I like that.
Yeah, I would say something in Italian, but I don't know any words in Italian. So.
Oh, I know when we went to Italy, we were there in 2007.
Oh yeah.
And I spent about 3 or 4 months before I went learning some Italian. In fact, that over on my bookshelf, so I can see beyond me, as I still have my Italian lessons. And it was kind of fun because there's a gentleman who lives there with his wife. She's Italian, he's an American, and so her Italian is very good. And obviously, because it's native, but her English isn't so good. So I was trying to have some things so I could converse with her. And she was so excited that I tried, even though it's like I say something, they respond back. I'm like, I have no idea what you said.
Well, see, I have a translation app, which fits right into this. I also have a money conversion app, which has been invaluable for all the times we travel.
Yeah.
When we were in South Africa, it was like I was constantly converting Rand to USD and back so that I would know because you can't tell by what you're paying how much you're actually giving. I found one time I gave a tip of like 25 cents, which was not the intent, but you don't know, the valuation of things is so off, which is interesting because I think we're talking about technology today, are we not?
We are.
So just segue right in there.
I'll share this one piece of technology I think that can be very, very beneficial. And it's something, it was a what do they call it? A Kickstarter program. Now, this was probably 5 or 6 years ago. And again, I love speaking to just about everyone, but when they're speaking a different language is tough. And so I invested in this product that you could just put in your ear, put one in their ear, and it would convert their language into my language and vice versa. And we could have a conversation seamlessly. It works beautifully. Well, it was quite expensive back then because new technology. I saw something yesterday that had the same thing, and it's dirt cheap, which is cool because that's what the beauty about technology is. It doesn't get more expensive with evolution; it gets less expensive, and so that's exciting. So if you have some issues like that, and you want to talk to your garden, you want to talk to whomever, there's a little Vietnamese guy I played pickleball with, and I actually created a video and then had it changed. So my voice, my lips were in Vietnamese, and I'm going to give it to her, just going to freak her out. Yeah. I can do 187 different languages. So anyway,
oh my God.
That's a way to bridge the gap.
On that same thing, I want to wear them when I go to the nail salon.
Absolutely.
Because I want to hear what they're saying about me. So, because sometimes you get the idea that they're going, this lady's crazy, but other times you don't know for so much. So I just would like to listen and see, what are they saying?
Yeah. You'd be like Elaine from Seinfeld. You're worried they're talking about you.
Sometimes they are. When they point at you, you pretty much know.
Yeah. It's the true thing. Well, as Leslie said, today's conversation is the ups and downs of technology for today's business owners. And we're just, we've kind of touched on a little bit of this is sometimes technology, there can be a little bit of a challenge, and things have evolved. I remember not long ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I'd see a cool piece of technology that I thought would be really good. I would get it, but it didn't talk to any other product that I needed. I needed it to strap on, right? I needed to talk to other pieces of what I was using.
What?
And so, so it made it very difficult, right? Have you ever had that situation happen where you buy something, you're like, it's a standalone product?
Yes, quite often, actually. In the old days.
Yeah. Now there's things called APIs, which is like this amazing conversational tool that now you can connect. And then if you don't have those, you have a product called Zapier, and it probably does over now probably 3 or 4,000 different programs that are not designed to work together. This will help connect it, and all of a sudden you can put together this amazing conversational workflow, or this workflow that will actually work seamlessly, because one says, okay, this happened. Zapier, we call them zaps, is zapped, and it's a trigger to say to go to the next thing, and it's connecting. Let's say you have something on your website that is a free offer. Well, that free offer doesn't go really to your CRM. So now when that's triggered, it triggers the zap. The zap takes it and puts it into your CRM, which then does a series of things. Those little things now exist almost natively. But there's still a lot of people out there building products that don't talk to anyone else. They're standalone. And that's a frustrating thing.
And I bet you just talked over about half of our audience, because they, believe it or not, even in 2025, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, but technology is moving so fast and the options are so vast that it becomes overwhelming to try to figure out what you need for where and how it works. And just yesterday, I had to figure out how Authorized.net created buy now buttons. That was why I tried to call you yesterday. But I figured it out on my own. I was pretty proud to say.
I called her back in 3 minutes, and she figured it out in those 3 minutes. I was so proud of her.
I did figure it out, but I was searching for a while before I set up the white flag for you. But then all of a sudden it made sense. And I consider myself probably above average computer literate, because I've been working with computer technology since the 80s. But even I get confused and overwhelmed, and sometimes things that are supposed to be intuitive don't quite now you buy things and they come with no instructions. Have you noticed that? I bought new Eero boosters for my Wi-Fi, right, for my house. No instructions. And they weren't easy to set up, by the way. So, in fact, I'm not 100% sure they're set up properly, but my TVs are not crashing every 2 minutes anymore, because my old routers, they're routers. My old ones were so old, they were 5 or 6 years old. And I guess like that kind of technology is only good for like 2 years, and then you need to upgrade it. So the fact I got 5 is, a plus, but things come with no instructions. Just a box of hardware, and you're like, what? And it says download an app. What? It's like, oh my
well, they're downloading that app so they can trace it back and now put you into their system, because you might have purchased it, let's say, from Amazon, and Amazon is very careful about letting anyone, even the producer of that product or the manufacturer of that product, have your information, because that's proprietary information. That's yours, or excuse me, in that case, it's Amazon's. So a way to get you in their CRM atmosphere or stratosphere is now for you to download the app. Now they get all your information, and away you go.
Well, and worse than that, they offered me a subscription program for something that I thought I had to have. So I signed up for it. Turns out I did not. It was optional. But they don't tell you it's optional. See, this is the point of today's discussion, because I'm quite sure all business owners are a bit overwhelmed by what is out there, what the options are, what do I need versus what is just a nice to have, or maybe I don't need at all. And so that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today, correct?
Yeah. So let's just kind of outline, hey, for a business owner to be successful, what tools, and I want you to think of tools as like the foundation of your business. What are those tools you must have? And when I say tools, I don't mean that, you get, QuickBooks or something. I'm talking about do you have to have something for accounting? Do you have something to track sales? Do you have something to follow? That's what I'm talking about. So Leslie, if you think about an average local business and a business owner, what kind of things would they need? And then we can help give you some things to strap onto those and say, consider this as a technology that you might consider adding, but know there's some ups and downs to that. And now you can make a decision.
I wish you quit saying strap on, but okay.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Well, that's what we say. We strap that on. We bolt it on to another, sorry.
I know.
That's how we talk when I'm talking to my developer. Well, can you strap this on? Yeah, we can bolt that right in there.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
let's
I'm
go.
sorry. I apologize.
Let's run
So
it then.
so one of the things you have to have as a business, or you do have to have a financial accounting software of some kind, and setting up the GL and stuff can be quite intimidating to some people. Then a GL is what a general ledger, and it's the categories that you put all your expenses in so that you can track for tax purposes. Well, first you want to track for profit and loss purposes, but then also for tax purposes, what all your write-offs. So a general ledger is a list of a chart of accounts that you categorize expenses and income into so that you can track how your business performs. Everybody has to have that. You also have to have a calendar of some kind. There's lots of calendars out there. And then you have to have some kind of business operating system to do your business in. Now, a lot of people will start off with spreadsheets and just do Excel spreadsheets and try to keep track of all the things they're doing. If you're a retail business, you need a point of sale system so that you can renew your inventory. Is that the right word? Restock your inventory. And point of sale systems these days are all automated. I remember when that first happened. I remember when barcodes. Ow, I fell down. I remember when I almost fell off my chair.
It's a dangerous sport being a podcast host.
I know. I need insurance for this. That's a good one. We should try that. I remember when barcodes first came out, right? When they first started that scanning thing. And so and now it's evolved to the point of, and it's been this way for quite a while, where you can scan a box of Wheaties or something, and it will tell your system that you need another box of Wheaties. And it's just a continuous flow to keep your stock replenished. So that's good for retail business because it also keeps track of your sales and all this stuff. So you have to have a point of sale system if you're in retail. You also have to have one if you're in, say, food service, right? You have to have some way to track all your cash register stuff, which also tells the system how much hamburger you use, how much lettuce you use, how much tomatoes, how many French fries. So it knows not only to track trends, but also to track consumption so that it will replenish. Replenish is the word I was looking for. Replenish your inventory. So there's a lot of different, what else do we need? We need,
I think you need a CRM. So you need a customer management system that you can,
right.
So in other words, if I'm out prospecting, where do I put those people so I don't lose them in follow-up? And then,
right.
and then how can I track them across their decision-making journey as well as their customer journey? Like now they're an owner of my product or service.
Right.
Where does that go? So I think you need a good CRM.
Right. What other kind of technology? You need some AI technology these days, if only to problem solve or help you generate content, or because you have to have content for marketing, which your content accelerator is ideal because it creates everything. It creates your blogs, it creates your newsletters, it creates your social media posts. It creates everything for one package, which is great. And so what else do we need? We need, some people I still have a fax app basically, because believe it or not, there are still
people.
You
say fax app?
I did.
Fax? Oh my God.
Yeah, because my fax, I still have my fax, believe it or not, because people still want to fax stuff in, especially out here in the desert, I still have people who send me fax copies of their receipt book in lieu of an invoice.
Wow.
Right. So
somebody sent in a fax right now.
That was a client calling. So I have a fax app still. I don't have a fax machine. This app sends in, takes whatever they scan and send me as a, they may have a fax machine, but I get a PDF, right? And when I send out one, it goes to them and converts into a fax if that's what they have, or it goes as a PDF. You have to have email for sure, right? You have to have email. You have to have some way to market. So there's a bunch of things that you need, and there's a zillion different applications and programs and systems that you can get. Now, our shameless plug again, our executive errands, we created a system called Essential Elements that combines most of that, right? It combines everything into one place: client management, vendor management, time tracking, calendar, everything gets combined into one system so that we don't have to use a bunch of disparate apps, which was what happens is you become app fatigued and you end up having so many apps and you're paying so much money that having one centrally located spot is beneficial to your company. It's also beneficial to your sanity, right? Or having again, I'm going to go back to the content accelerator because I think that's such a brilliant thing that you created, because it creates all your social media. Oh, you're looking at executive errands. You have to go to the Essential Elements page, which is on CBS and not on there, but okay. So
You have that up there as well.
Yeah, Executive Errands is the lifestyle management company, and CBS is the software and consulting. But you have to have a way to have an app that really covers most of it. Now, the key is that no app is 100% perfect. No system, no app, no nothing. So you need to have a best fit for your business, whatever kind of business you have. And you do some of that, don't you, Jeff? You determine best fit for somebody?
Yeah, it's one of those things that, again, technology has taken us down to this point where they're called no coding. So you don't need any coding skills to do this. And sometimes, and this happened again. I'm in a group, so I get kind of a cutting edge. I get kind of a first review beta stuff. And there was a new product come out. It's called Bolt, BOLT. And basically it's using, and you might hear this nowadays, it wasn't like this just a few months ago. It's called vibe coding. It's like having a conversation with this AI on what you want. And it's just conversational. It's not saying, okay, I need to do this. This is what I want you to make for me. And through that,
like ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, in an essence, but what it does, it will actually then create that. So if you wanted to create an app, you wanted to create a CRM, you want whatever it is, you can just go to this particular product, and it was the only one like it. Now there's a couple of them, and they're very easy to work with, and it will do all the coding for you and then spit out the app, and then you can take it to the next level and say, okay, now I want this other company to build the front end. So in other words, what anybody sees. Well, to me, if I'm using it for my company on the back end, it doesn't have to be pretty. It has to be functional. Well, right. Now you can actually, from the very beginning, say, I need an app, or I need a program that does this, this, and this. This is the outcome I need. Here's the reporting I need. Go make it. And it will make it. And it's freaky how fast it will make it. And it's free.
Yeah, is it 100% free, or is there?
It's 100% free, and then you can put it on. And remember, I said earlier on, I said the beautiful thing about technology, as it advances, it doesn't get more expensive. It's like you buy a car; the more technologically advanced it gets more expensive. With technology, it gets less expensive, because anything we can do in scale, we can do. It gets less expensive to make. So in this case, it's free.
I have to tell you about the first time I bought a microwave, which is technology, right? So I bought my first microwave in like 1980-ish. Okay. It was $600, and it took 2 grown men to pick it up. I'm not kidding. That's not an exaggeration. Now you can go to Walmart and get one for $60 and carry it with one hand.
That's amazing.
And it will do stuff. That's the cool thing about technology, though. Every year it gets better and faster and quicker. And weren't you just saying in one of the other podcasts about how things are changing every day in AI, right? And
Yeah.
AI is something people need to embrace as a business owner. You're not going to be able to avoid it. Okay. Regardless of your philosophical concerns about robots taking over the world. You okay. So I was saying that that business owners are going to have to get involved with AI. I don't see any way around it. And actually, and that's despite whatever reservations you might have about AI or how it's going to do to the world. I'm sure there are going to be nefarious uses of it, because there are always nefarious uses for anything that's good. But I've been extremely impressed with AI, just the simplistic amount that I use, and you are on it every day. So can you tell us about the benefits of AI and how it can really help the business owner today?
Yeah, the first thing is, unlike a lot of technology, AI is a pretty gentle learning curve. You know, sometimes when you get something new to start using it, like I'll give you an example. When I first started editing and I used the editing software back then, it took me 30 hours to edit one video, and the video was only 3 minutes long. Now we do that video in just about 30 minutes. So it's a huge savings in time. And as I was mentioning, there's this thing called vibe coding. Well, this is actually just conversation you'll have like we're having now, and it interprets what you're talking about and it creates. So using AI now can save you time. It's one of those things that people say, well, you know, that this dystopian side of this is, oh, it's going to replace everybody's job. It's for those people who know how to use AI that will still be around, because AI will still need your assistance. We haven't
Right.
quite gotten to that point yet where it knows what to do on its own. It still needs a little nudge to get started in an oversight. But the biggest thing is, you know, I could go on for a long time, but I'll try to make it as quick as and painless as possible, Leslie. First of all, it can help you do tremendous research. Like, as an example, as a
Right.
marketing agency, I'll say, well, you know, if you were coming to me, what I would do in advance is I would start looking at your market. I would ask you a few questions of who your ideal customers are, who you're serving, things like that. And then I would do a lot of deep research in who these people are, what their pain points are, psychographics, things of that nature. Well, that used to take weeks, and quite honestly, that was probably a $10,000 to $15,000 project that we would take on to get that information. So that meant that from that point on, we'd know exactly who to and how to talk to those customers to get the best benefit. Now you can do that same thing with the new deep research that they have on ChatGPT and all of them, basically Claude and Gemini and
Shark
what am I,
Week.
Grok, Grok 3, all of that. So it saves tremendous time and money. So now you can have that same answer back. I'm not kidding you, in just minutes, where it would have taken a week or so. So that's really good to get started. Then you can take it and say, it can become my marketing arm. I hate to say it because that's replacing me, but it becomes your marketing arm, because now that you know who it is, it's like, okay, I need to sell X, Y, and Z. What's the best way to do this? And it will give you a marketing program. How can I, where's my best platforms to put this out on? It will tell you that. As Leslie said, it will help you with your accounting. As an example, who likes to every month go through their bank accounts and balance their their statements? Well, now technology is available. You can say, hey, when my bank statement comes in, it triggers this action that now analyzes this, balances your account, or finds the problem, and then it takes it and puts it into the right GL. Well, I don't know, Leslie, how long does that typically take someone?
A bit.
A while?
Yeah.
This would take literally no time, because it's all happening behind the scenes. You just get a ding on your phone when it's done. So it could do things like that. It could help with getting more leads. Like, as an example, one of the biggest things when I talk to people, I'll say, what's your goal here? Well, I need to get more leads. Well, turns out they really can't process the leads. In other words, what I'm saying is, if I gave them 10 leads today, they may not be able to follow up on them. We did this with a cosmetic surgeon, and in about 2 weeks, we got him like 65 good leads, and he couldn't follow up on them. Well, here's the thing. if you get a lead off the internet, you need to be able to respond back to them within 5 minutes, or they're probably going on to someone else because we don't have the patience to wait. Well, if you have artificial intelligence in place, whether it's a chatbot, a modern day chatbot that can have a conversation, not just one of those old fashioned chatbots, but one that has ability to have a conversation with somebody, you can have that respond nearly immediately, or you can take it up another level and say, I'm going to have my voice agent call that person and follow up. And they can actually schedule appointments and actually close deals. They can follow up with people. I don't think, Leslie, there's anything that you cannot have a solution right now with AI.
One of the things that I love that you're doing for me is you're taking my newsletters that I write and you're turning them into videos using AI, turning them into videos for me. And then I have something, even though my newsletters are posted as blog posts on my website, they also have embedded now the videos, and you've optimized the SEO for all of that. And I can then take the link for the video and post it on social media and reuse it again and again and again. And I really think that that's an extremely good use of AI, because anytime you can repurpose something you've already created, right? That's where you are, where you actually maximize your revenue for something. If you take the time to create content, whether it's a meme or a video or whatever you're creating, a blog post, a podcast, whatever, if you can take and repurpose that into something else as a business owner, you're getting a huge bang for your buck. So to pay somebody like you to convert these written words into audio, and you're using my voice too, right? To read them.
we've synthesized your voice from a sample that you've given us. So now anytime your voice is used on, and it's used virtually in every video, it is your voice in the video.
Right. Now, one thing I'll tell you, I've noticed quite a bit, at least on the I'm going to ignore my voice thing. So one of the things I've noticed quite a bit on the ads that pop up on the video games and things that I play on my phone, which that's a whole other time waster thing, but is that a lot of them are AI generated. And I've seen quite a number of ads recently that are saying, I'm going out of business, and so I'm going to sell everything at a discount because I'm sad to say I have to go out of business. And there's a lot of these all of a sudden. Apparently people have realized that the old fashioned going out of business sign that used to be plastered all over the furniture stores and then they still be there 2 years later is a good marketing ploy. There was one I was watching this morning that this lady, she had allegedly, I don't know if she probably does really have a jewelry business, but it was AI that was talking and one of her fingers was missing.
Oh,
I noticed that one of her, I thought, does she only have 4 fingers on that hand?
Was it her ring finger missing?
Yes, it was her ring finger that was missing, actually. And then when it changed position, there's a whole new thing for pronouns, right? When it changed position, then her finger came back. So I don't know how that happened. I hope that you're watching my stuff so that I don't end up with missing fingers. But I thought that was interesting. And I know enough of looking at AI from working with you that I recognize it as AI. I'm not sure that everybody would recognize it as AI. And the one scary thing about this, the downs of this, is that it's going to become harder and harder and harder to discern what's real from what's Memorex. I mean, you know what I mean? That's an old ad, because you can't hardly tell anymore. Is that my voice? Is that somebody else's voice? Is that me on the video? Is it not me you can't tell. It's getting more and more.
I just want to throw one safety item in there.
Sure.
And this is one of those things, as an example. Before I could use Leslie's voice, I recorded it, but before we could actually use it, I had to have a live video at time of recording for her authorization to use her voice. So there's that check and balance. The same thing if we were creating a video for her, it would be one of those things where I have to have a video of that person on a webcam to prove that we have their authorization. Now, that's one check and balance. Here's something I would recommend everyone do with their loved ones, with their close friends who depend on them. They depend on you, and vice versa. Is I would create a code word so that when you get a phone call or an email from somebody says, "Hey, this is John. I'm your nephew. I'm in a jail in Mexico. I need you to send me $1,000 so I can get out." Ask for the code word, and if they don't know that code word, game up. Right? So that's a little way for you to protect yourself against being scammed, because it's going to happen. It was happening before AI. It's going to happen after AI. It's not that AI is a bad tool. There are just bad people out there manipulating it in such a way, thinking it's easier and faster for me to scam the system and people than it is for me to be productive in society. Create a code. Make sure everybody has that before you give any personal information. Ask for the password, the secret code, so that, and my wife and I have done this. We've done this already with our friends. I haven't given to Leslie because she's a little sketchy at times. No, it's typically, no offense, Leslie probably wouldn't call me unless it's something for business, and vice versa. I'm talking about your immediate family. So if, as an example, if your daughter, calls you and you're like, this doesn't seem right. I didn't know she was in Hawaii today, but she's asking for money or whatnot. Is there a code you could use? So I just want to throw that in there as a little bit of it's not a disclaimer, but it's a safety thing.
Well, you have to have that, right? You can't go forward with all this technology unless you know what's at risk, right? The last thing you want is to get a phone call that says, "Hey, I've been kidnapped," or "I'm stranded somewhere," or and it sounds like your family and you don't know. So, and we kind of diverted from business a little bit, but that's even true in business. I mean, you want to make sure that what you put out there, you can control it. And that's why, even though it's possible to do this yourself, quite often you're better off to have a professional helping you, because they know this stuff and they're keeping up with all the current trends and enhancements and technology and new stuff that comes out every single day. And so it's better to have, I have Jeff do mine. I mean, I could do it. We talked about, we were practicing and doing it. It literally takes seconds to do it, at least, but it's not as polished when I do it. When Jeff does it, he makes sure the right images are there and the right tone is there and the right pace of my voice, and all the structure and the opening and the closing around it. I can make a video and it'll come out, but will it be as good as something that Jeff does? No. And that's why I want him to do it. Plus, I don't always have the discipline to do it every single time I do a newsletter, which is I do one a week, 2 for Executive Errands a month and 2 for Concierge Business Solutions. And we're only videoizing. Is that a word? Videoizing?
It is now.
I just coined a word. On the CBS side, those are the only ones we're turning into videos. But I don't want to spend the time to do it. To me, it's more valuable. My time is better spent marketing, networking, building relationships with new clients, that sort of stuff, than it is creating content. So because content is super valuable, but my time is valuable too. So I'd rather pay somebody to do that.
Well, here's a cool hitch or ride on that. I won't say strap on or anything like that. I'm going to hitch or ride on that. But, we're talking about the ups and downs of technology. I want to share something with you. I don't have any financial connection with them. I do use their product, but this is a program called HeyGen. And if you're not familiar with it, these are all what you're seeing here. These are all different avatars that you can use to create videos for your business without you having to be there. Now, somebody say, well, yeah, but I don't know if this would work for me. Great. Well, then what you can do is you can create your own videos. Like, these are a couple of my clients and myself. And then when I click this, I could create, as it says, I could create up to 300 different versions of me. So somebody says, well, yeah, but I'm always standing like this in the same clothes. No, I could have myself walking down the street. I could be sitting on a park bench. I could be having a conversation with somebody. And I'm just creating this short segment. When I'm talking short, I'm talking like under a minute segment that I put in there. And then I can piece these together and all of a sudden have this video. Well, what does this do for a business owner? Well, it means now you're never having to get in front of the camera. In fact, when you talk to Joshua, the owner of HeyGen, his goal was to create a cameraless video experience. And then, of course, you can take this and use another piece of AI, which is called 11 Labs. Again, I have no financial, I don't get it paid for that. But 11 Labs is a voice synthesizing program. It right now, as of today, it is the best on the market at duplicating the sound of your voice. In fact, we're taking one of our clients who's an author, and we're taking his book chapter by chapter, and we're creating content, much like with Leslie. We're creating a newsletter. We're turning that newsletter into a podcast as well as a video. He'll never have to be in front of the camera. He'll never have to do any recordings. It's all done behind the scenes. He can go do what he does best, with his research and writing, while we're creating content for him and growing his business and making his phone ring when somebody says, hey, could you come talk to my, and then whatever, in a seminar, in a seminar. While we're on this, I want to show you something else. We talked about this earlier. Let me just point out one little thing here, which is really, I think, kind of cool. This is down in their beta. This is a video podcast. So as an example,
Right.
let's say, for instance, we could take, and we've done this before. We did it on the audio. We haven't done it on the video yet. But because both myself and Leslie's avatars exist in HeyGen, we could then, let's say we found an article that we really liked. Let's say somebody like Neil Patel, who's a genius in marketing. He wrote this great article. We could take that article, upload it into here, and say, well, what avatars do we want to have work with this? And we say, well, let's have Leslie and Jeff. And they put it in there. We can have an avatar doing our podcast for us, and we never have to be on the video. How cool is that?
Oh, it's cool, but it's not fun.
Well, it could be fun because that means you're in Africa. That means you're in Africa enjoying another safari. How fun is it now?
Yeah, true.
Right.
True.
Then there's then there's these things called interactive avatars. These, and I'm not trying to sell HeyGen. I just want you to be exposed to what's out there and don't be surprised. An interactive avatar, let's say you're a therapist and you want to create a system that people, when they need you, you're available. Well, what you do is you create your avatar, like I showed you there, put in like 3 to 5 minutes of a video, and then educate it on all that you know. And now if I wanted to come in and ask questions or have a session with you, I could do that with your avatar. And for me, I would rather see you today than have to wait 3 weeks, because I'm bleeding now. I need a Band-Aid now, not 3 weeks from now. So that could be something that extends your business. You can also take that same avatar, and guess what you could do? You can now do your virtual meetings. So if you have 3 or 4 conflicting meetings, you can send your avatar to 3 or 4 different places, and that will interact during the Zoom calls for you and record everything that's said. How cool is that?
Gosh, and most of the people I talk to that I consult with just want to be able to run their business. I mean,
I'm just saying this is going to be this, Leslie, in my opinion. The people who are aware of this and say, Jeff, can you help me? Or I'll figure it out on my own. It's going to be like they're in a Ferrari and you're in a Conestoga wagon.
Absolutely.
That is what's going to cause this shift, I think, in employment and growth of business or non-growth of business. It's not because you don't have a good product. You just can't get it out there fast enough. You can't duplicate yourself fast enough. Like I said, I can create 300 different versions of me on there. I could just turn this over to Melissa and say, Melissa, listen, we want to make it on these subjects. And she'd go make the videos. I'd never have to be involved in them, but I know they'd be done correctly. So I just wanted to share some of those things with you that I think are just phenomenal, that are kind of not on the forefront. They're happening today. This is not the future. You could go to HeyGen right now and you could sign up and create your own avatar for free and see what it's like. it's not like those, we always joke and say, well, it's like a kung fu movie where my voice is moving, but my lips are behind or vice versa. It's incredible how well it's synced up, Leslie.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with you. I am 100% behind all of this. You know that. My concern for business owners is this is another place, and it's so easy for this to happen. This is another place where business owners can get distracted trying to learn and trying to do all this when you've already created the wheel, right?
Yep.
So so while it's important, it's super important, and I agree that you've got to take advantage of it in order to be on the forefront, because those business owners who don't are going to get left in the dust. They just are. I mean, technology, just life in general, moves so fast right now. And if you don't call somebody back, you're right. If you don't call them back within a minute or two, they are like, where the hell are you? You're not responsive. You know, it's crazy. So, I mean, and I've spoiled my clients really bad because we always call back, but you know, the one off chance that I don't, I hear about it. Right. So I think that it's in a business owner's best interest to familiarize themselves with the products and understand the capabilities so that they know what's available to them and they know what to ask for. But they're better off going to an expert to help with it, so that so that they don't lose. You only have so much hours in a day. I sell time for a living. I know there's only so many hours in a day. So it is better to, even if you're taking and turning yourself into an avatar, somebody still has to manage that avatar, right? So I just, sorry.
See, now I have a solution for that.
Turn it off.
An AI solution for that. And that person would be handled. I'm just giving her a hard time. Although I really do really do. Have
no, I know you
do.
Well, the problem is I had changed my phone that said if the number's not in my phone, to send it right to voicemail, which cut down the number of rings on my phone considerably. The problem is, because I get a lot of spam, as all business owners do, right? But unfortunately, it also sent people that I really was waiting to talk to my voicemail also. And so I don't want that. So I had to take it off. So now the phone rings like incessantly, but I did just turn the sound off until we finish this podcast. So I'm just recommending that business owners, I'll give you a parallel or a example. I used to teach business of supply chain management at Cal State Northridge. I taught that for 5 semesters there. And supply chain management has to do with the planning system that tells you how to replenish inventory and when to release stuff to be built and how to find it on the shop floor and that sort of stuff, right? And what to order, what you need. So it's a computer program and it's a math calculation. Almost everything in life is a math calculation to some degree. And so that's the reason they do computer and ones and zeros, right? So it's a math calculation. So the planners I worked with and taught, and the people in the classroom that I taught, which was everybody from people who sold ties to bagels to shovels, all different kinds of businesses in my class, do not know how to do that. They do not know how to manage the logic. They need to understand what the logic does so that when something is wrong, they can recognize it. And I think it's the same with this AI and all the technology burst that's happening. And it's such a great time to be alive. I absolutely love, because I'm a technology hungry, informational geek. I love all this stuff that's happening. And I'm glad that I live in this time. But you have to understand what it does and then find somebody else to do it for you. You do not need to do it yourself. Okay. Same with my newsletters. I've told this story 1,000 times too, right? I used to spend 12 to 20 hours for one newsletter, just writing it, finding pictures, formatting it. It was ridiculous, right? It was ridiculous. And then I outsourced it. So I was writing the newsletters, but somebody else was formatting it and doing the pictures. And that cut it down to like 4 to 6 hours. And now I use AI to help me. I know what I'm writing. I've taught AI all the stuff I know, right? So I can put in a good prompt and it's going to feed me back exactly what I would say. And if I find that it's not exactly what I would say, I have it revise it, right? And then I can send that over to have it formatted and stuff. And it literally takes me no more than 10 minutes. So we went from, um, 8 to 12 hours or 20 to 12 to 20 hours or whatever it was, ridiculous, down to 10 minutes in the span of 20 years. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And there's so many aspects of your business that you can automate in this way. My software that we offer is a management by exception. We only look at exceptions. There's no reason to look at everything. 80% of your problems are in 20% of your data. So let's look at that and let's fix that, right? You do the same thing with AI all the time. So I just think that people are better off to outsource the mechanics to somebody who's an expert because it'll be more cost effective in the long run.
100%. I mean, and I want to pull up your website now because I think that's important. As an example, you gave yesterday in our networking about, would you leave your child alone for 6 months if you went away?
Right.
And we think about solutions because you also are in the business of taking care of homes that are usually second or third homes for people. And we think, well, the way to take care of our homes is we'll just put cameras in there, and then we'll put things that will detect if there's water, things of that nature, and we're good to go. But there's so much beyond that, is there not?
Oh, way more than that. Way more. And people don't realize. Sometimes they say, well, I have housekeeping that comes every week. That's enough. No, it isn't, because the housekeeper is not trained in what to look for when there's a problem. So,
like you have this product called Follow the Wall right here.
yes.
Talk us about, again, the camera can't do that. I'm sorry, you can't do it.
No, this is a process that we developed. You mean the camera in the house can't do this?
Right. I mean, there's nothing that's going to be able to do this.
Right. So we developed this process that says we literally follow the walls inside and outside, and we're checking for water intrusion and pest intrusion and damage and appliances that no longer work, the AC system's not cooling properly, broken glass because a gardener, their weed whacker threw a rock. I mean, just all kinds of things that we're checking. And then outside, you're looking for excessive wet spots for irrigation leaks, or excessive dry spots for irrigation failures, or the roof edges for wasp nests and stuff like that. So I wrote a narrative for our process. And then Jeff took it and created this video for me that's only a minute or two long, right? It's not super long. Right. And it is my voice saying the narrative of how we do an absentee home check. And I have this thing in my signature on my email, and I send the link to prospective new clients who are interested in our absentee home care service. Okay. And so that alone, first of all, when you have good content and digital content, people think, wow, these people are on it, right? Because still today, there are a lot of people who don't have it. And then they get it and they're so impressed by what they're seeing and how it's quick and how it's informative and how it's on the cutting edge of things, right? And so I'm a firm believer that stuff like this is extremely important for your business. We also have a flip book, which is one of those digital booklets where you click on it and it turns the pages. You've seen those for magazines and sales flyers. Target has them, that kind of Walgreens, they all have those. Well, we have one that's our booklet, and that's also in my signature on my email, and I can also send that electronically to people. And so when they say, what do you do, or how would I use you? I can send them a digital booklet or brochure, right? I can send them a digital video that shows them exactly what we do and how we do it. And I'm telling you what, the feedback has been phenomenal on this stuff. So really, how much time did it take me to do all this? I had somebody design the book, the brochure, and then we turned it into a flip book. I wrote the narrative for this video, and Jeff turned it into a video. He's got a picture of me that's 7 years old, but I turned it into a video. That was my 60th birthday, that picture.
She hasn't aged today.
Oh, yeah, right. It's only good plastic surgery. That's the only reason. And so, and I'm also on his local voice, which is his other, is that a podcast?
That's a podcast. Yep.
Yeah. So he has another podcast called Local Voice. I'm on there. And then there's my brochure. If you click on the one to the right there that says Feel at Ease, Leave Us Your Keys, that's the flip book I was telling you about. That if you click on it, no, don't make it bigger. Just click on the edge. See, it'll turn over and you can read it. And so these kinds of tools are extremely effective for business owners and set you apart from other businesses similar to yours who haven't yet taken the leap into digital technology. And so I would encourage all of you as business owners to think about what could work for you. And there's just so many options. That's why I said Jeff does Best Fit. These are things that would work best for your business. I do Best Fit for software and things like that. And so I would just encourage business owners to take advantage of all the new stuff that's available. But you've got to parse it down into what makes the most sense for your particular business and how much are you willing to invest in it. And then you want to make sure that your clients and customers perceive that you're on the cutting edge of this technology so that you can set yourself apart from other similar businesses, because there's a zillion different businesses. I mean, go to any corner of any place and see how many hamburger places there are. There's like 4 of them, one on every corner in one spot, right? But they're all different. So something sets each one of them apart. And that's what you want to do with your business, is find a way to use technology to set your business apart.
One of the things I also want to ask you to please do before we get going, I apologize, we're out doing some things outside our office, but I'd like for you to talk about how you've taken your knowledge and turned it into something that now can have a very long lifespan and consistently keep generating revenue. And that's your program that you have. I think it's called Freedom by Design. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I didn't get the advantage of not having to be present for video. I mean, I personally did the videos, and Jeff was there for every single one of them. But how many videos was it? I think in the end, we ended up with like 46 videos for this program and like 4 or 5 sales videos. Yeah. So this
was in the 50s.
Yes, in the 50s. It was a lot of videos. And we had to go to a town I do not like to do it. But this is called Freedom by Design, and it is a new digital program about how to build a business that runs itself. And this came about because I found I was tied to my business. I mean, when I got married 5 years ago, I literally took my laptop on vacation. I talk about this in the videos, took it on my honeymoon and worked the entire time. And I thought there has to be a better way. I've been in business at that point 15 years. There's no reason that somebody should have to do that. And in that time, in less than 5 years, because last year we went to Africa for vacation, I didn't even take, all I had was my cell phone. I didn't take my laptop. I didn't take anything. I just kind of monitored my business and used my management by exception tools and figured out that I could enjoy myself and my business ran itself. There was no suffering of customer service. Revenue didn't get affected, nothing. Everything worked perfectly. Now, how does that happen? Well, you have to have the tools and technology in place in order, as part of it. There's a bunch of things. That's what this course is about, what it takes to build a system that runs without you. Because the true mark of success for a business owner, in my opinion, is that you can walk away and your business keeps operating properly, right? You can make a ton of money and still not really be successful Money is not well, for me, money is not the measure of success. The measure of success is, can I walk away and it will still operate? Because that means I put the systems and tools in place to keep my business running. And I just was reading a book called Walk Away Wealthy. And then one of the very first things it talks about is the less you have to work in your business, the more your business is worth. So if you have aspirations or an exit strategy of sometime in the future selling your business, then you definitely want to create a business that you work on instead of in. And most people work in their business. And so that's something that this course teaches you. It's all been digital. It's all digital. There's worksheets, there's audio, there's video. You can take it at your own pace. And I'm really, really proud of this because this is my quickest way to be able to help the most small business owners. And by the way, it doesn't matter what business you're in. This is a course designed for all business owners, regardless of what your product or service is. It doesn't matter. These are industry best practices on how to figure out this puzzle that is your business and how to reach operational independence. So if you're interested in operational independence, please go to the website that Jeff is showing you, learn.con, there's no www, so it's learn.conciergebusinesssolutions.com, and it will tell you all about the course. The courses, there's 3 of them, and you can find your own way to freedom by design. I would be so thrilled if you achieved that. That would be like I achieved everything I set out to do. That'd be awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jeff. I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, one of the things is that I think one of the most beautiful things about technology is it allows you, and that's why I wanted to kind of wrap up with this, is it's allowed us to do things that even 5 or 10 years ago, Leslie, was almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because the barrier to entry financially was so high and the technology was so high and the bandwidth needed to do this was so difficult that only a handful of people could do this. The Tony Robbins of the world could do this. And now it's one of those things where, you have some incredible knowledge. I'll say this because we've known each other almost 2 decades, and you can help so many people, but you're limited by how many people or how many Leslies there are. This allows you to duplicate yourself into unlimited number and also to be clear with every one of them with the same consistent message. So I think that's a beautiful upside when it comes to technology. The downside is that you don't do it.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. You got to do it. And in this day and age, there is no excuse to not do it. So you've got to find a way to make this happen. I'm dead serious about that. I'd rather dance.
Yeah.
But if you want your business to thrive and you want to not lose your brains completely, which is, you're already twisted, bent, and exhausted. So this will help you get untwisted, unbent, and a little bit less tired. I promise you, because having the right people helping you is, it's worth every single penny.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, pay for speed. I do it every day. I've talked about this on previous podcasts. I don't ask how, I ask who now. And I learned that. It's like, okay, I want, like as an example, when it comes to developing, I'm not a developer. I'm a visionary. I'm a guy who says, hey, I saw a problem. Can it be fixed with technology? Good. Let me go to my developer and let's talk it through. And he says, yeah, we can do it. Build it. Right. And I'm off to the next thing. And so I think that's the beauty of that, is find somebody who already does what you do and they're decades ahead of you. I did this when I was, doing video editing. I thought I was a pretty good editor now here's another guy. Just yesterday, we hired a new video editor because one of our people have moved on. And even that gets to the point where you're going, yep, that looks great. I watched a video yesterday for one of our clients, Coachella Valley Direct Primary Care. That video was phenomenal. I'm thinking that video alone was about a $3,000 production. Just that the quality had gone up so much. And this is a gentleman I used for some other services years ago. And he went back and became a film editor, and came back and approached me and said, I'd like to do some stuff for you. And I said, okay. And he did it. I'm like, Melissa, my project manager, says, you've got to see these. These are phenomenal. She's like, wow. And it takes a lot to get her to wow. And I watched it this morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, you are right. So pay somebody else to do it. As Leslie said, when she first started business, she didn't just create, flyers and brochures. It was extremely high quality that projected, hey, I'm serious about this. I'm really good and very professional. And I think from that day one, there's been no question, has there?
No. In fact, I've had people say to me, which I take as the ultimate compliment. I would take logoed folders and all my brochures and things when I would go meet with people, and they would ask me, "Is this a franchise?" Because it was that high quality. And to me, there's no better place to put your money in your marketing collateral and in your technology. Those two places will take you further than anything else. So you just really have to focus and understand what's available to you. You don't have to do it yourself. You just have to understand what's available and then get the right people to help you.
Well, Leslie, as always, this has been a treat. And for those of you watching and or listening, I appreciate that. We've covered a lot of things today, mainly the ups and downs of technology and how a business owner can leverage them or fall behind with them. I guarantee you there's probably not one person watching or listening to this that still rides a horse to work every day downtown New York. There's just not. You take a different mode of transportation. Think of technology as the same thing. Is this transportation doing what I want it to do? We hear about Warren Buffett still owning, an old automobile. It does what it needs to do. It gets him from point A to point B. But I guarantee you, when it comes to making decisions and investments, there's probably a little tech behind some of his decision making. I don't care who it is. I guarantee there's a little tech in there to help him. So with that, Leslie, as always, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jeff Harrison. You are at the Twisted, Bent, and Exhausted Entrepreneur Podcast. We hope you'll continue to join us. Leslie, any last thoughts? And I'll let you wrap it up.
No, thank you guys so much. And please share this with your friends. Tell everybody about it. We really want to get the word out about all the different things that we can help you with. So please share. We appreciate it. Thanks.